That awkward Covered California income estimate. Hi, I'm Kevin Knaus with InsureMeKevin.com, and Covered California believes you have a crystal ball and you can predict your future income for the Affordable Care Act subsidies. Well, my crystal ball broke. It's very difficult, and it's probably very difficult for you in most situations. One point I want to get across is that your last year's income, that's dead. That barn door is closed. You can summon last year's income or tax return and use that as a guide for predicting the future. But sometimes that doesn't always hold. Sometimes last year's adjusted gross income was very low and maybe you didn't even qualify for Covered California, or it was very high. But you are predicting, you are trying to estimate next year's modified adjusted gross income. So you have to kind of take some time and understand that things happen during the year. So you can use your tax return to kind of a guide as what happened in the past, because we don't know if you're going to be coming into a carload of money or a carload of debt, depending on your activities. For example, a self-employed person, they could incur a large expense because the old truck breaks down and they have to buy a new one. Well, they didn't anticipate that, and that's going to reduce their net taxable income from their self-employment activities. Who knew? Of course, at the end of the year, you may get a big contract if you're self-employed and you didn't anticipate that either, and so your income is going to be much higher. There are other things that we cannot foresee, as maybe I'm hiking out here and I trip and all of a sudden I need an ambulance because I just broke my ankle. And of course, I'm not going to be able to work, and that's going to reduce my income. But, hopefully you're safe. The household really affects the Covered California subsidies, not so much your income, obviously, but when you go in and you're estimating your income, you're estimating your household size, and maybe you have some children at home, and then, gall darn it, one of them actually graduates from college or goes into the military, and all of a sudden you had a household of 4, but now you're a household of 3, and that's going to change the final subsidies that you reconcile when you do your taxes. And so you can't necessarily foresee that when you go into Covered California. And possibly, with all the kids gone, you want to downsize that little house you have on the corner. And if you sell it, you may have a large capital gain that is reported on your income tax return. How do you didn't foresee that, but that really will change the equation, unless you know that you're going to be selling your house, but even then you don't even know what the sales price is going to be. So that's very difficult to predict. Then you also have to think about, maybe some people are going to be retiring. Your spouse may retire or start taking Social Security retirement benefits or drawing from a pension or an IRA. That all factors into the income. And sometimes we're forced to retire and the income goes up. But hopefully we can kind of sit down and kind of think about what might happen in the new year in terms of those kind of retirement and living situations. Covered California does put out a document called Countable Sources of Income that lists many different line items of sources of income that are either countable for the modified adjusted gross income or they're ignored. And for the modified adjusted gross income, what we're really focusing on is first, gross wages from employment, that W-2, because that goes into your adjusted gross income on your federal tax return. Your net taxable income from self-employment activities, that's gross receipts minus expenses. That flows into the AGI. And also unemployment insurance benefits usually are also taxed. So if those come up, those are going to be factored in. But things that aren't included on the tax return that are included in your modified adjusted gross income for the Covered California estimate are things like Social Security retirement benefits. Oftentimes those are not taxed, but they do go into the modified adjusted gross income estimate. Social Security disability insurance, foreign earned income, and tax-exempt interest. So there's a lot of moving parts there to kind of get your arms around. But if I leave you with anything, I want to reassure you that you are okay when you make your best good faith estimate of what your income is for Covered California. You have done your best and your duty. Now, you may put that income down, and Covered California may say, oh, we need to verify that income. And that oftentimes will happen because the Covered California, they cannot see your tax return, but possibly your income estimate is higher than the last filed adjusted gross income, and that might be because someone is taking Social Security retirement benefits. So don't get too freaked out that they want verification of your income, because there's a lot of things that they can't see when they ping the federal databases that don't show up. So it's going to be okay. Just do your most accurate, best good faith estimate of your income for the coming year. And of course, you can always change your income during the year, because you want to try and get it as accurate as possible during the year, so you don't have to repay a bunch of subsidies, excess subsidies, or you don't have a lot of money left on the table because your income is much lower than you originally estimated. So that's a lot, but it's going to be okay. If you have any questions or comments, you may leave them down below. I will do my best to answer them. So for InsureMeKevin.com, I am Kevin Canals.